All right, I think I have one more myth for you, and then we'll take a look at the chat panel and see if we've got any questions. But I hear this one a lot, that that LayOut and SketchUp is not a full CAD solution. And it's just not true. You can create all of your construction documents, you can create all of your details. The new scaled drawing feature in LayOut is absolutely fantastic. The ability to draft at a scale in LayOut is killer. This means that like when you need to draft a diagram, when you create a detail, you can put it in scale. It completely eliminated the need for our draft mode. So we are migrating away from draft mode, but that's okay. All the other ConDoc tools are perfect for automating this stuff. We just don't use draft mode anymore because LayOut has come so far. So let me open up a drawing set that I'm working on right now. This is for an ADU, an accessory dwelling unit in Denver. And I just want to show you, it's not 100% complete, but I want to show you that the sets that we create in LayOut are no different. They're indiscernible from a set that you would create in AutoCAD, in Revit, ArchiCAD, Chief Architect. When you, in the end, we're going to export a PDF and you're going to print it and you're going to stamp it or do whatever you're going to do with it. There is no one who can look at a PDF and say, I know for sure that that came from SketchUp or that came from Revit. It would be very difficult to really button that down. It doesn't matter. In the end, we create drawings, we create PDFs. SketchUp and LayOut is accurate, it's precise, it has all the line weights, it will create the entire set. Let me show you what I've got going on here. I'm gonna go to File and choose Open, go to my desktop and click Temp, Layout Myths, and then this is our St. Paul, and here's our ADU permit set. All right. Now, I'm also going to go to SketchUp and I'm going to open up our desktop Layout Myths and St. Paul, and we're going to open up the ADU. So this is the SketchUp model that is attached to the drawing set. So check this out. I mean, it's super lightweight. This thing, and it renders beautifully in Lumion too. It's super cool. Actually, that ivy is awesome in Lumion with the foliage effects on the materials. Super cool stuff. Now, if I open up my ConDoc system, this is where, you know, as I move around, you can see that I've imported like the survey. So I just pulled that survey in, I scaled it properly, and then, you know, that way I can kind of put everything on the page, and then I drafted on top of it in LayOut. That's what I ended up doing. But so I'm just going to hide that for now. I can hide the site. I used Placemaker to pull in the site. And I mean, this is a super lightweight model. If I look at how big this thing is, let's go to Layout Myths, St. Paul, and the model itself is 19 megabytes. Let me do this. I'm gonna go to Window Model Info, Statistics, and click Purge Unused, and then I'm gonna save it again. And let's just see if like I hadn't purged in a while. So we're at like 17.8. You can see it right there. These models can be super lightweight. And then I use like my ConDoc system and click Interior. You can really isolate, you know, just what you need. And I got to tell you, for this particular project, you know, interior renderings is not always a priority. Like for this one, it was all about creating the drawings. And yeah, I want to explore the space in 3D, but you can see that, like, you know, I use my 2D graphics. I use really simple shapes for the bathtub and for the vanities, for the closets. You can see my 2D graphics for the stairs. You know, the kitchen has a super simple layout. I'll probably add a little more detail to that. Downstairs in the garage, we have some other stuff going on, but and this is always off. Yeah, that's just a square footage calculation I was working with. And I'll go to exterior. That flips everything back on. I can go to all on to see all of my layers turned on. Everything running in an extremely lightweight manner. Now, when I go over into Layout, let's look at the set. That SketchUp model is attached to this set. We use our own system. We use SketchUp, we use LayOut, we use ConDoc, and I used ConDoc to draft this set. We have all of our notes. This is all just text and layout. We have some zoning land use information. Not all of this stuff is 100% filled out yet, but we're getting close. This is really cool. This is a scaled drawing. This is what I was explaining. Part of this, see, I think I did explode the whole thing into scaled drawings. So in the end, like once the design is pretty much set, it's sometimes you just need a diagram. And so I turn these into scaled drawings. And that's what I'm seeing here is when I click on this, you can see that this drawing is set to 1/8 inch. And this is another chunk of geometry that's set to 1/8 inch. Super easy to use. These are different models, different views that I shot using the perspective tool. All right, and then let's hop over to the next page. Now here's all of my floor plans. So you can see we've got some different, our interior walls are hatched differently than the exterior walls. This 1 hour wall is just a hatch in layout. So I use if you just need like a simple, let me see here, you can see it's just a layout geometry there, kind of hidden back behind the other viewports. And then here's our second floor, all of our dimensions and our roof plan. Let's go to the next page. Here's all of my elevations, and then we have even all of our sections, and then we start to get into our details. You can see here I was kind of goofing around with some different line weights, using those line weights to sample and apply, and then we have even more details. These details are using that scaled drawing feature in layout. That means that when I double click into this group and I draw a line, if I say that this line is 6 inches, it's going to recalculate that to be at the proper scale of 3 inches equals a foot. So I just think that this ability to draft in layout with these perfect line weights, it's so easy to use our ConDoc annotations and just sample the line weights. If I'm working over here, I might draw a line and we're going to go with a wide line, and I'll say that's going to be 1.75 inches and hit enter. It just scaled it for me. I mean, it's so perfect to be able to draft in here. And so you can very quickly just sample, different line weights like this, go to the next one, maybe that one's like a medium line weight, and then the next one is going to be a wide. So using the ConDoc annotations palette, along with our scale drawings, you can create some of these details so easily. And there's even an insert DWG AutoCAD files, which means you can pull all your old AutoCAD details into layout, whip them into shape, get the line weight set up, save it as a scrapbook, build your library. I mean, it can't be any simpler. I mean, I think back on 2D CAD days of the pen settings and when it was print day. Oh man, that was such a nerve-wracking thing to get everything right and get it on the right layers. And honestly, in layout, what you see is what you get. It looks like your sheet. You can set it to 100% and zoom in at 100. Click that again, 100%, and this is what it's going to look like. Really cool. All right, so then the last page is more details. So what I'm getting at is there's all the different pieces of this set, and now I'm gonna go in here and take a look. The kitchen window, all right, right here, I'm gonna duplicate this window and add one right here. All right, so that's gonna make an effect to this plan in the kitchen, and then I'm gonna go to the next page, and I know this project pretty well, I designed it, so this guy here is gonna get another window. All right, so let's hop over into SketchUp and let's double click into this window here. I'll make a copy of it like that. I'm gonna call this 4 feet, and then I'm gonna double click into my walls and then punch an opening in my wall like this, hide the rest of the model, push that back, and then we're good to go. So there's my extra window. I'm gonna save this, hop back into layout. Now remember, these are the techniques that we're learning. Is I want to turn auto render off. I don't want to reload this model and render this whole set. If I do that, it's not going to take forever, but it's definitely longer than I want to wait. I'm moving quick here, right? So I'm going to go to File, Document Setup, and then let's look at this reference is out of date. So when I choose Update, see auto renders turned off. So when I hit Update, we get all of our exclamation points. That update took no time at all. Now, I can just double click into this drawing and I can render this one by itself. That happened so fast. That is no problem to wait for that one drawing to render. Because you know what I might do is I might go back into SketchUp and tinker with something else, and then I got to reload again. I don't want to render the whole set every single time. Turn auto render off. Now, let me hop back over here onto our floor plans. Again, we have all these exclamation points that represent, they tell us that this needs to be rendered. So check this out. I go down here, I right click, and I can render the models on the page. This is gonna render all these plans, everything on this page. But I gotta tell you that this SketchUp model is super lightweight anyway. I've built it correctly. I've used 2D graphics, 3D objects. It took like 3 seconds to render the whole page. Truth is, it's just a real snappy way. And even if I do turn on auto render, when I check this on, now we're rendering the entire set all at the same time. That might take a moment. We got to hit each one of these raster images for the perspective. And then anything that had an exclamation point, our other elevations, our sections, everything gets rendered at the same time. But the point is, first, don't have that auto render turned on. It's just gonna, it's taking a moment. I don't want to wait that long every time. So auto render off, know your settings. ConDoc takes care of 90% of this 95% of this for you. If you just push the buttons and stick with stock ConDoc, it will handle it for you. Everything that I've covered is all explained in my book. My book is the manual for ConDoc, and ConDoc automates everything in the book. So it's all pulled together. And then we do have our resource website, which is SketchUpForProfessionals.com. And this is, we put our new tagline up. Basically, this is the fastest and easiest way to implement our workflow for designing, drafting, and visualizing spaces. And we only use SketchUp, LayOut, Lumion, and ConDoc. That is it. Super clean workflow, all 3D, very efficient. Give it a shot. So ConDocTools.com, you can also check that out. If we hop over to ConDocTools.com, we do have a free 7-day trial, and so just give it a go. I promise. It's really, really snappy, fast workflow. It's everything. It's that steps beyond. It's light years beyond 2D CAD, but the 3D features are falling way short of the complexity of BIM and Revit and all that stuff. So it's really a clean system, works well for us. So anyway, those are our 5 layout myths. A couple SketchUp myths in there too, but hopefully that was informative. Let's lay these to rest. Now that you are informed, you can go spread the good word. Let everyone know that, when your colleague tells you that SketchUp isn't accurate, you can't do that in SketchUp. You know the truth. Let them know. So if you like what you saw today, please give us a like. If you're on YouTube, if you could subscribe or give us a thumbs up or throw us a holler in the chat. And I really appreciate you guys coming in. And I'll wrap up right now and take a look at our chat panel, and we'll catch you in the next webinar.